welcome back. Hopefully this is going to inspire you and give you a couple of gems. Embark on the journey to master your life path game. Conquer challenges, overcome obstacles, and uncover the secrets to fulfilling and a purposeful life. And remember, you're never too old to embrace your full potential. In fact, it gets even better the older you get. So level up your skills and craft your winning strategy. But how? Well, on the panel this morning is counseling psychologist Charles Davids, transformational life coach Paulo Mendes, marketing graduate Carlo Sheldon, and law student Emilio Nomdo, each with a very different point of view and different season of life. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Really looking forward to this one. And thank you for joining us for this chat. Now, I think mastering any game takes a little bit of time, some perseverance, and we tend to feel like we aren't successful or reaching our full potential early enough because we constantly compare ourselves to others, and it's there in our face all the time. But the advice from Judge Judy, of all people, is a great thought starter. Take a look at this.
You don't have to be defined. If you didn't make it in your 20s, you can make it in your 30s. And if you didn't make it in your 30s, you can make it in your 40s. And if you didn't make it in your 40s, you can make it in your 50s. And just remember Grandma Moses. You know who that is? Oh, please tell me you remember Grandma Moses. She was a painter, and she didn't start painting until, I think, in her 80s, and one of the most prolific painters.
Never too late.
Never too late.
Never
So have
too late.
fun. That's what it's all about.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Thank you so much for saying that on behalf of all those in the Masters section of life right now. It's never too late. I once met a man who started marathon running at 90. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. I love the fact that we are all in slightly different seasons of life. Mastering your life, that game plan. This is something that should be front and center when we're starting out, but unfortunately that only kind of kicks in retrospectively often. How do we make this a purposeful exercise? Where do we start when mapping out that game plan?
So it's actually quite a, well, interesting but sometimes difficult question.
Yeah.
Because I think, I look at it, and interesting enough, I think over the last 2 years, sit on the couch with a lot of, youngsters in their early to middle 20s, but also with people in their late 60s and early 70s. And it's interesting that we're talking the same thing, right? And it is about what it is, and people find purpose quite late in life a lot of times. Because remember, I think people start off with saying, building a career, or what it is that, depending on what happened in our family of origin, what parents are saying, or what the community and society are saying where we live at the time. And then, so it's about looking at sometimes building a career from the beginning, or a safe career almost. Right?
You see your plan A and plan
exactly.
B.
And my view is find the thing that you're passionate about, and then you get people to pay you to do it.
Completely. And I think there is an opportunity where the world is now. Now, the reality of this job, Paulo, is that most often I would discover a purpose through someone having gone through this life journey, and at the end of that, something terrible happens to them. They discover something, they go through a particular gateway that allows them to discover their purpose, and suddenly the true north is there and it's all great. How do we tap into that at the beginning? How do we know what our purpose is at the beginning before we start so that we can get paid to do what we love? How do you coach those that come into your space?
It goes back to, we have to be clever enough to look at the past and learn the lessons from it, not just reject because there's so much new stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of wisdom that has to go in it. And I think we in the 50s, we need to look back into the 20s and 30s guys and say, hey, we've been through some of that. Let me help you with some advice and some wisdom in it. I would start by focusing on building that career. We all come from the background where, get a safe job and build a safe career, get the house and the children and the family, where now things are so much different. I would advise people, take your time, learn about yourself, focus on your career to build financial stability, and then discover your purpose as you go along. Because that's the definition of work. Work comes from the word ergon, which means to develop yourself, for one to find himself or herself in what they are doing.
It's almost like the journey is the most important part, which is very difficult to explain to someone when you're young and a bit silly and starting out in life. But you do have a roadmap because those have come before us, our parents, the community that we exist in. Call it marketing. what was that your safe bet? Because it leads into a lot of other things. Was that your passion? I need to help to build brands, grow things. What led you to this choice in your life?
To be honest, I first studied education.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mid first year, dropped out.
Why?
I think it just wasn't for me. It was more of chasing the security of the job.
Okay.
There was a scarcity of male teachers, or there still is.
And you've seen it, you
benefit.
know it, you're like, okay, this I can do.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've grown up with teachers. I can do
Exactly.
that vibe. Yeah.
It's the benefits, it's the security, if we think about it. And then I started being more involved in social media. Okay, let's see where this can go. Could this be a passion? Could this be something I would love doing? I then started a job, did a little freelancing, and ended up studying marketing, which I loved. And I look back and I'm like, I didn't make the wrong choice. I took the leap of faith.
And you've done it.
And I done it.
And the crazy thing is you'll probably make those kind of shifts 5 times in your career. That seems to be the average, that we change careers, paths, and shift and change. So maybe letting go of this need for certainty is a part of that process, especially in how quickly the world is changing right now. Law. Not just yourself, that's everybody, Emilio. That means that you want to be involved in the fabric of building society. Is that your passion, or is that a really nice paying degree that dad and mom are going to be okay with?
Yeah, no, I think there are financial benefits to law, and there's quite this attractive aspect to it, if you will. I mean, what got me into wanting to pursue law was suits.
Yeah.
You know, the high life
Fair game, bro.
lifestyle.
Fair game. You wear them well.
I mean, it's a lot
Got it.
less flashy than law specters, but what has actually kept me in law is that thing that you mentioned about understanding the fabric of society, understanding how things function, understanding what links us, what disconnects us, and how inevitably we are governed to act in certain ways and not to act in certain ways. So I think that expression of reality is something that I'm really interested in pursuing.
Yeah, and you get to inform how people around you live. Here's the crazy thing. I've found out in the time that I've been working in the development space with my kids that most people end up an average of the people that they grew up with, and their parents might not even play that much of a role. It's crazy. All of us have these questions to ask ourselves, and we want you to join the conversation on our social pages right now. You can share your journey towards personal growth and success by telling us what mindset shift or habit change has been crucial in your pursuit of mastering your life path game. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Maybe it's some small incremental change. How has it transformed your life for the better? And don't go anywhere, because we'll be back with this amazing panel looking as good as they do to continue the conversation in just a moment. We know that for every season of life, it's going to feel slightly different. So how do we enter into that new phase? By leaning on, yes, the lessons of the past and being able to look forward at those opportunities, but also be comfortable in the moment right now. We'll continue in just a moment.